the Callisto Protocol has gone gold. As the Callisto Protocol approaches its launch date, developer Striking Distance Studios announces that the much-anticipated game has gone gold. The Callisto Protocol release date and platforms. The Callisto Protocol release date is locked for December 2, 2022. That was confirmed over the summer, when developer Striking Distance Studios appeared at the Sony State of Play showcase in June with a new trailer, a first look at the Callisto Protocol gameplay, following 3 years of teases from creative director Glenn Schofield. Striking Distance also confirmed that the Callisto Protocol will launch on PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X, and Xbox One. While the studio hasn't ruled out the Callisto Protocol Game Pass release, Schofield says that he has discussed the possibility with Microsoft Gaming CEO Phil Spencer, but he wants to give the game time in the market before committing to any subscription services. Striking Distance Studios has officially announced that the Callisto Protocol has gone gold ahead of its release at the end of the year. Developed by some of the original creators behind Dead Space, Striking Distance's upcoming game is among the most anticipated horror titles for 2022. The Callisto Protocol will put the player in a claustrophobic environment fighting off zombie-like creatures, in a game that's set to emphasize a lot of gore and violence throughout the title. The developer first announced the survival horror game back in 2020 during the Game Awards with a 2-minute trailer. Now, as the Callisto Protocol nears its launch date, Striking Distance has begun ramping up its updates. Recently, the developer confirmed that the Callisto Protocol will launch on December 2 and that the title will be shipped with a 60 FPS performance mode. Previously it was stated that the game will support ray tracing, along with AI tracing and other graphical features, such as algorithmically determining environment lighting. With fan expectations kicking in, the latest announcement would come as a welcome update for those who have their eyes set on the Callisto Protocol. The Callisto Protocol gameplay details. The Callisto Protocol is a third-person survival horror game built for a new generation of players. It's effectively a love letter to Visceral Games' Dead Space, 2008, and Dead Space 2, 2011, albeit infused with a decade's worth of introspection and iteration from creator Glenn Schofield. If you haven't played either of the best horror games of the Xbox 360 generation, then you should know that you're in for a hellishly scary time. The Callisto Protocol works overtime to build a foreboding sense of tension through dense, dark atmospheric levels, interspersing exploration with quick hits of gruesome combat versus grotesque opponents. The only way to survive is to hack off and blast away limbs, wrench enemies into dangerous components of the environment with a gravity gun, or pummeled flesh into mulch in heavy melee combat. Like Dead Space, the Callisto Protocol isn't for the faint of heart. The Callisto Protocol has gone gold, which means that the survivor horror title is ready to hit the masses in line with the December 2 release date. Striking Distance Studios tweeted the update, thanking everyone for the support and excitement. The studio also mentions that it can't wait for players to experience the horror at Black Iron, which is the much-hyped location where the game's story is centered around. Of course, this doesn't mean that players should expect the Callisto Protocol to have a picture-perfect launch. Today, it's common to see AAA titles face bugs or other issues by release, which is why many developers push for day-one patches to smoothen the experience for players. With the Callisto Protocol's focus on features like ray tracing and 60 FPS performance modes, there's always the likelihood of developers pushing for day-one patches to squash some bugs. Does the Callisto Protocol have a PUBG connection? Once upon a time, the Callisto Protocol was a part of PUBG. At least, that's how it was announced to the world back in 2019. Something changed during development though, with the Callisto Protocol eventually spinning out into its own IP that no longer takes place in the PUBG universe. Naturally, this has caused some confusion, so we took the question straight to Glenn Schofield. The Striking Distance CEO told us that as development evolved, the studio thought that saying it's attached is disingenuous and took the problem straight to Chung-Han Kim, CEO of publisher Krafton. And he told Schofield the words he wanted to hear, alright, cut it free. As per Striking Distance, the Callisto Protocol will take around 12 to 14 hours to complete. Though somewhat shorter than some of the biggest titles hitting the market today, game director Glenn Schofield has already stated that the game is bound to offer a lot of replay value for players. Notably, this includes its late-game beta paths. Either way, fans of the horror genre will likely have plenty to be excited about when the Callisto Protocol becomes available in December. The Callisto Protocol is set to release on December 2, 2022, for PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X/S.